Macintosh and Keynote experts, specializing in presenter displays.
So I'm very pleased and honored to welcome Andy Savikas, the VP of Digital Initiatives at O'Reilly Media. And without further ado, I'm going to just turn it over to you.
All right, thank you, Frank. To apologize for the delay. I know one of the first rules of presenting is don't stand between your audience and the open bar. So thank you, Fran, for inviting me. And thank you for your patience while we worked out the minor technical difficulties. Oh, thank you. Can everyone hear me all right? All right. If you're not familiar with O'Reilly Media, we're best known as the publisher of the iconic animal books, books on computer software and technology with funny-looking animals on the cover. We also publish a series of consumer books, the Missing Manual series, and a magazine for do-it-yourselfers and enthusiasts called Make Magazine. In addition to books, we also run more than a dozen conferences each year, mostly in the Bay Area and mostly about technology. But we also produce the Tools of Change for Publishing conference every February in New York. And we're branching out with the one-day version of the TOC conference in Frankfurt next week and an online version coming up on Thursday. While you'll soon learn that I am more than happy to share my opinion about what the future holds, the truth is that I don't have a magic 8-ball with all the right answers. One of the things that we try very hard to do at O'Reilly is not quite prediction, but rather get warned about your backup. Identify the faint signals that help us all better understand what lies ahead based on what's already here. This is a quote from science fiction writer William Gibson, and it's a great way to describe what we do at O'Reilly. There's a lot we can learn not by trying to peer into the haze of what might be, but by trying harder to interpret what's already happening. That's what I'm going to talk about today, in terms of where those readers are that we're all trying so hard to follow. And besides, if I was using a magic 8-ball, it would look more like this one. This is the Eyeball iPhone app. This is one of the original early warning systems. This little guy is not in a coal mine, but a few of his ancestors probably were. And I'm sure they would agree that what was a faint signal to the miners was anything but faint to them. Much of what I talk about today is based on our own experience as a publisher, one that sees itself as having a bit in common with those canaries. It's easy to chalk up a lot of our experiences at O'Reilly to the subject matter of our books or the technical nature of our audience, but we do believe that we are very much like a canary in a coal mine. First, the bad news from the birdcage. This is Nielsen BookScan point-of-sale data for the entire computer book market, not just for O'Reilly. This data goes back to 2006. If it went back further, you'd see that sales in our part of the market, computer books, as measured using printed books sold at retail, has been flat or declining for nearly a decade and doesn't look to be getting better anytime soon. The red is this year so far. But the trends on the digital side suggest that we are nowhere near satisfying the existing demand, much less the constantly growing demand for digital books and other digital media. Here's data from the International Publishing Forum. Let's try this a little less windy. Compiled by the Association of American Publishers and showing wholesale ebook sales from about a dozen major trade publishers. This data is wholesale, so double the numbers to get sales to customers, roughly. And this doesn't include some of the most active ebook publishers, including ourselves. So conservatively, I would actually triple these numbers to get at the actual overall ebook sales right now, which means that that market is already bigger than the computer print book market. So this is not a small opportunity, at least as far as we're concerned. Here's data from O'Reilly.com showing the growth of ebooks over the past 18 months. Here's a more direct comparison showing print versus ebook revenue during the past 18 months. Ebooks now outsell print books by more than 2 to 1 on O'Reilly.com. And we're not even into the fourth quarter, and we're already ahead of last year's revenue for ebooks. And this doesn't yet include much of our iPhone and other ebook sales Kindle and others that haven't yet been reported and have really picked up in the last couple of months. As a very frequent flyer myself, I can relate to this customer, this reader, and it's the kind of thing we love hearing about what we're doing. I was recently at another conference and was talking to one of my counterparts at a major trade publisher. The technical nature of his job means he reads a lot of our books, and he took the time to thank me, as a reader, for offering our books in a variety of DRM-free formats that were easy for him to use on whatever device he wanted. One of the reasons that we think our readers are responding so well to what we're doing with ebooks on the direct side is that we've tried to give them something really worth paying for. Note that on the right you can of course buy the book, right? But you can also buy the book combined with the ebook, which offers the benefit of the print with immediate access of the digital. There's an ebook only, if that's all you want, along with subscription access via Safari Books Online. And a browse preview would give you up to 20% of the book. We want to provide as many choices for the reader as possible, especially since there's so much variety now in how, when, and where people are consuming digital content. Because there's no DRM, they can put their PDF or ebook file on any and as many different devices that supports any of the formats that we offer. After the purchase, they can come back anytime and re-download one or all of the versions of the ebook. In our ebook bundles, as we call them, we include PDF along with EPUB and Kindle-compatible Mobi Pocket. We also provide free lifetime access to any updates we make to the book. Given our subject matter, as you can imagine, we make a lot of corrections and updates as technology changes. We'll even email them to tell them there's a new version ready for them to come and get. This kind of control and choice is a big reason why we think our ebook sales are growing so strongly. And we think it's an important reason we've been able to sustain prices at 80% of the print price. While downloadable ebooks are performing very well for us, I want to get to the real theme of this conference: follow the reader. It's doubtful this gentleman has a laptop or a Kindle, much less a bookshelf in his den at home. But like billions of people, the readers, around the world coming online, he has a mobile phone, and one that is probably connected to the web. According to IBM research, there will be 1 billion web-enabled cell phones by 2011. And in India, cell phones already outnumber PCs by 10 to 1. According to the One Laptop Per Child project, 97% of adolescents alive today live in the developing world. More than half of India's population is under the age of 25. And in the same way that many emerging markets skipped landline telephones altogether, it's quite likely they will skip building out a costly and often inefficient retail distribution system in favor of something natively digital and very much mobile-friendly. By 2011, some forecasts show that mobile broadband will surpass fixed broadband as the primary way that people access the internet. By the end of the year, 2/3 of the world's population will have a mobile phone. And the real growth is happening in emerging markets. Again, these are places that often lack mature physical distribution infrastructures, including adequate rail, road, and freight capacity. But how many people are really reading books on their phones? Well, the truth is that mobile reading is taking off, and it's taking off fast. Though hard numbers are difficult to come by, some estimates are that the Kindle sold more units in its first year than the original iPod. The Sony Reader has reportedly sold more than 300,000 units, and Stanza, the free iPhone app, has been downloaded well over 2 million times. And again, while Kindle and Sony Reader are important, smartphones like the iPhone and Android are where the real action and the real readers will be in the coming years.